At 19 years old, I made more money in 1 month than my teachers made all year. How can any teenager realistically become a millionaire before 25? Not through gambling, not through luck, and definitely not by waiting for permission. The modern economy completely changed the rules of wealth creation. For the first time in history, a teenager with a laptop has access to the same tools once reserved for massive corporations. You can publish content globally, sell products instantly, build software from your bedroom, reach millions of people without owning a building, a company, or even a degree. That sounds insane, but mathematically, it makes perfect sense. The reason most people never become wealthy early is because they still operate using industrial age thinking inside a digital age economy. They think wealth comes from labor. Today, wealth comes from leverage. And once you understand that difference, everything changes. For decades, society taught the same formula. Go to school, get good grades, get a stable job, work for 40 years, retire. The problem is that this system was designed for the industrial economy. Factories needed predictable workers, corporations needed obedient employees, and schools were optimized to produce them. But the internet broke the system. Today, one teenager with a valuable skill can outperform entire companies. A 16-year-old editor can make thousands of dollars per month working online. A teenager with an audience can build a six-figure brand. A coder can launch software used worldwide before even graduating university. Meanwhile, most students spend their most energetic years preparing for a future that no longer exists. And this is where opportunity cost becomes dangerous. Every year spent only consuming information instead of building skills delays compounding. Because the earlier you start, the more time works in your favor. A teenager's biggest advantage is not intelligence. It is time. In the industrial age, wealth scaled slowly. If you wanted more money, you worked more hours. But digital systems changed the equation completely. Today, one piece of work can generate income forever. That is digital leverage. If you create a video once, millions can watch it. If you build software once, thousands can subscribe monthly. If you write an ebook once, it can continue selling while you sleep. The cost of reproducing digital products is nearly zero. Economists call this zero marginal cost. And this is the foundation of modern wealth. You are no longer limited by physical effort. You are limited only by skill, attention, distribution, and systems. The teenager who understands this early gains an enormous advantage over everyone still trading time for money. The internet also created something strange. Skills now matter more than credentials. Businesses are desperate for people who understand artificial intelligence, content creation, marketing, automation, software, and short-form video. And most older companies are years behind. That creates something called skill arbitrage. If you know something valuable that the market lacks, you get paid disproportionately well. A teenager who masters AI automation today may possess knowledge worth more than someone with 20 years of outdated experience. Technology rewards adaptability, not seniority. This is why many teenagers are quietly making more money online than traditional professionals. Not because they are geniuses, but because they adapted faster. Most people think becoming wealthy starts with investing. It does not, it starts with cash flow. Your first objective is simple. Learn a skill valuable enough that strangers will pay you online. That could be video editing, graphic design, AI systems, copywriting, coding, social media management. At first, the money is small. Maybe your first client pays $50, then $200, then $1,000. But something important happens psychologically. You realize money is no longer tied to location, age, or permission. And once that belief changes, your behavior changes too. Now you stop asking, how do I get a job? And start asking, how do I build systems? That shift changes everything. Now let's talk about the actual math. Because becoming a millionaire early is not magic. It is compounding. If a teenager begins investing early while continuously increasing income, the numbers become extreme surprisingly fast. Imagine investing $500 monthly at age 15, then $1,500 at 17, $3,000 at 19, $5,000 at 21, and $10,000 by 23. At roughly a 10% annual return, the portfolio crosses $1 million near age 25. Most people hear this and immediately say, no 23-year-old makes $10,000 a month. Actually, thousands already do. Especially online. The real challenge is not earning. It is keeping and reinvesting. Because wealth is built through ownership, not consumption. That single idea separates people who appear financially free from people who spend their entire lives chasing money. The numbers are usually not the real problem. The real problem is psychology. Human beings are naturally wired to prioritize immediate pleasure over long-term reward. Behavioral economists call this present bias. The moment most people receive their first large paycheck, they immediately begin upgrading their lifestyle. They buy expensive clothes, luxury cars. Wealthy individuals think differently. They see money as a tool. Instead of asking, what can I buy with this money? They ask, how can this money continue working for me? That mindset changes everything. At the beginning, you work for money. Later, money begins working for you. This is why ownership matters so much. When you own assets, you create leverage. A normal job usually has a ceiling. There are only so many hours you can work in a day. But scalable assets operate differently. A YouTube channel can continue generating ad revenue for years. Software can continue gaining subscribers every month. A digital product can continue selling thousands of copies automatically. Investments can continue compounding silently in the background. They understand that short-term sacrifice can create long-term freedom. And this brings us to the roadmap. The key idea is simple. Build things once that continue producing value repeatedly. This is why many successful entrepreneurs focus heavily on creating systems. Systems create scalability, and scalability creates leverage. For example, a freelancer may make money only when actively working. But someone who builds a software platform can generate recurring income from thousands of users simultaneously. A creator with a loyal audience can launch products repeatedly without starting from zero every time. An investor can grow wealth through ownership of appreciating assets over long periods. This stage often requires a mindset shift. Most people are conditioned to think only about income. But wealthy people think about equity. They think about ownership percentages, assets, distribution, scalability, and long-term growth. This is the difference between temporary income and lasting wealth. The third phase is scale and compound. This is where financial growth begins accelerating significantly. Now the focus shifts toward optimization and expansion. The goal becomes increasing efficiency while continuing to reinvest profits. Income gets redirected into investments. Profits get reinvested into businesses. Assets begin producing additional assets. And compounding starts becoming visible. At first, compounding feels slow. The early years rarely look dramatic. But eventually, growth becomes exponential. This is why many successful people appear to become wealthy suddenly. From the outside, it looks fast. But in reality, the foundation was usually built quietly over many years. The teenager who becomes financially successful at 25 often started learning skills at 15. They spent years building knowledge, systems, relationships, and experience before the results became obvious. This is also why patience is so important. People want immediate success, immediate recognition, but wealth creation usually rewards consistency more than intensity. Small improvements repeated for years become enormous advantages later. One useful skill learned today may create opportunities years into the future. One investment made early may multiply many times over decades. The earlier someone starts, the more powerful compounding becomes. And this is the hidden advantage young people possess. Time. Teenagers may not have large amounts of money initially. A long runway for growth. Every year spent learning valuable skills early creates momentum that becomes difficult for others to catch later. This is why starting matters more than perfection. They wait for confidence. They wait for certainty. They wait for permission. But confidence usually appears after action, not before it. The people who succeed are rarely the people who knew everything from the beginning. They are usually the people willing to begin before feeling fully ready. Will every teenager become a millionaire before 25? No. There are real risks. Market volatility exists. Businesses fail. Economic conditions change. Competition increases constantly. Success is never guaranteed. For the first time in history, a teenager with internet access can build skills, reach global audiences, create digital products, start businesses, and invest in assets directly from a laptop.